How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Can
Thank
you
you
see me
for.
good?
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this with me. I know we've had a lot of back and forth, but that's life. It's all
Yeah.
good.
It's all good. It's
it's
all
all.
good.
It's all good. How's your Sunday going?
How is it going? It's going actually very beautiful. I couldn't be more pleased with today.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy
Yeah.
to hear that. I'm happy to
Thank
hear
you.
that. Well, without further notice, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Thanks, y'all, for coming in. Again, if you are joining, my name is Karina. This is the episode of Kicking It with Karina. I'll be talking to Toni Jones about her journey. Um, yes, hey, Toni girl. Her journey in as being a wellness coach and mental health advocate and affirmation musician and everything in between. And if you have any questions, there's a Q&A, a little box at the bottom with a question mark. Drop it there, and I'll be sure to get to it at the end or in between. We'll see. Okay, so Toni, first off, I had to grab you and interview you because when I seen you on Nicole Kane's on your shifts, I was like, oh my god, I have to talk to her. Like I really felt like I did not get enough. Like I left full from just a short period of time that we had with you, but I was like, I gotta talk to her a little bit more. I gotta get a little deeper into her journey. So again, thank you for being here, and we're gonna jump right into it. So, and just like I said, watching you on your shift, I was like, Toni, she just seems very like calm. Her like you were radiant. Your energy was there. It just felt so positive and peaceful. So I want to go back to you as a younger girl. Like who was young Toni? Was she always like so aware and alert of her thoughts and her consciousness, or kind of take us back a little bit?
Well, yeah, and just FYI, I'm at the studio, so if you guys hear any like bass or anything, just please excuse it. It's not going to be loud, but you'll probably hear it a little bit, okay?
Okay.
But the younger Toni, the consciousness, I was just talking to my mother about that the other day, and and I'll share a experience because it's fresh on my heart and mind.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teenager, I was loved church. I love everything about the culture of church. And there was one particular time, I think I've done it once or twice with my mother, but as a teenager, I remember being in my bedroom wailing and crying. And my mother was just holding me on the floor, rocking me back and forth. And I remember just wailing, I want more of God. I want more of God. And my mother gave me this book called God Chasers by Tommy Tenney. And then it was this other book called Sacred Romance. And it was all about like your hunger and yearning for the things of God, higher things, mysterious things, and being intimate with the divine. And I was just like dissatisfied with going to church every week and not seeing miracles. I'm like, I want to heal the sick. I want to raise the dead. I want to do what Jesus did. Like that was my whole thing. And I was like, how are we satisfied trying to be like Christ, but we not performing miracles? I'm like, people are hurting out here. And so
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a teenager, my mom holding me, rocking me back and forth. And when I would have these episodes of just strong yearning, and my dad would come in the room like, what's wrong with her? And so as a young girl, I always had this appetite for supernatural, I don't know, like perform miracles. Like as a
Yes.
child, I always had this hunger for the unknown. And so my curiosity, I think, was always a sacred thing that I've always had since I was a child that made me curious about life and existence, which led to being conscious and being aware. But it definitely, the foundation was being brought up in the church and being exposed to the writings and his historical and doctrine writings of Christ and of spirituality.
Mm.
So my
Wow.
mom exposed me to a lot. She fed into that. She knew I had that palate for
Mm-hmm.
spirituality, and so she bought me those books, God Chasers and Sacred Romance, and that took me to the next level. I mean, it's been a definitely a journey, but I remember just reading the Bible, and I was just like, why can't we do this? This doesn't make sense. And it was a particular scripture um, that says, "Love God with your heart, mind, and soul." and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And on these two laws hang the whole law of God. You fulfill the whole law of God if you fulfill these two laws. And I said, wait a minute, okay, so if I can't perform miracles, the next best thing I'm gonna do is learn love, you know. And so that's the journey I've been on. And you know, fast forward to now, miracles are happening with women all around the world where they push play and they're feeling that healing, you know, in their psyche and their soul. They're feeling that healing power to navigate life. But that's pretty much like part of my younger experience with, you
Mhm.
know, spirituality.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing. Wow. So your mom started you early. She was already getting you to where you are now, basically. So she had a huge role in that. So kind of take us through briefly, take us through that journey from younger Toni to where Toni is now. Like, what were the steps you kind of took, maybe in your teenage years or your young adulthood, that kind of led you on the path to where you are right now?
You know, it's interesting you ask that because I don't think it was like a blueprint or an actual like script of being intentional with like, let me get to this state or this destination. It was more so I always had a heart for God and the things
Yeah.
of God, but the way that I hungered and yearned for it felt abnormal. So I was always trying to figure out a way to normalize myself and to make myself digestible for other people, because that wasn't a normal conversation to talk about. Like, don't y'all want to heal the sick and raise the dead, and don't
Hmm.
y'all want to heal people, like, you know. So I was just like, so I expressed a lot of my personality through fashion, through style, you know, through hair and, you know, things like that. So, you know, my younger years went from like that unique expression. I've always been into fashion. Anybody who's known me for decades, they know like that's who she is. This is who she's always been. If everybody's wearing purple, she's gonna wear polka dot, you know. And so it was just, I always was felt that way. I was just like, something don't seem right about doing everything everybody else is doing,
You
like,
got to
you
stand
know.
out.
And so it eventually led to, like, you know, being brought up in the church of, you know, me, you know, getting married. That was the thing, you
Yeah.
know. So I got married at a young age. I met my ex-husband at 16 years old, and you know, I got married in my 20s. And you know, I was married for 8 years. I got a divorce. That was a crazy experience, being married. That traumatized me, you know,
Wow.
because grew up in the church, it's a lot of times you're only prepared for like, make sure you believe in Jesus and so you don't go to hell, and stay a virgin till you get married. And that's the like the tools that you have to navigate life. And that ain't it.
Mm.
That ain't it. And so after my divorce, after 8 year marriage, I walked into a society that glorified the independent woman. And I was like, I had no literacy on what that looked like. So
Yeah.
I'm listening to Destiny's Child, like, all the ladies in the hood, throw your hands up. And I'm like, okay, so that's independent. Get my money, get my car. Like, so I'm in New York working in the fashion industry, trying to hustle and grind. And it was torture. It was torture for my nature. But I pushed through, because that's what we do as women. We
Mm.
gonna make it happen. It was like I kept having failed relationship after relationship. So I was like, one thing I'm gonna try and make a success is my life. And so that's where the whole wife for life philosophy came from. You
Hmm.
know, after being on the East Coast, I moved back home, you know, went back to school, got my degree in psychology, and I became obsessed. I love neuroscience and human behavior. And I was like, I have to create a space for women to learn their psychology, because all the ancient gurus, they always talk about know thyself, you know. So it was like me learning my design. I was like, I'm about to hack this hoe. Like, I'm about to figure out this psychology that I've been passed down that self sabotages in a sustainable way. And so I created my brand, my wellness brand, you know, life coaching and things like that. But then fast forward to 2018, after doing all of these events, creating all of this content,
Hmm.
burning out with trying to hack the boss bitch bondage mentality with wellness and self-care and self-love, when no one was really talking about it. You know, I was just like, God, how can I hack the limiting belief that women don't have time to take care of themselves? And got through meditation and prayer, I got the idea, affirmation, music. And so I went to California for a month in the end of 2018. I wrote the album, came back home, applied for a loan for 10 grand, got the loan, whoop the woo, got in the studio. Got in the studio and I'm on the mic like, how do I know how to do this? Like, I'm really talking my shit. Like, I'm like, how is this happening? And I was just like, I want to make this cool. I want to make this like beats. And I was just like, I didn't know how it was just flowing out of me. And lo and behold, a dream that I never dreamed for myself started to unfold. And I look back over my life and I'm like, I see how that happened and why that had to happen and why it's just like a beautiful, like, divine orchestra of my life. And now I realize it's just, I don't want to dream for myself no more. I just want to be myself, because the dream that the universe has for you you can't plan for it. You really can't. So that's a little bit of my whole, a little synopsis, bullet points, if you will.
Wow, that was a lot. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. So, talking about music, when you decided to, go to California, get in the studio, what was that experience like? You're entering a whole new world of music and recording, and these messages and things you want to give out to women. Like, what was that experience like in the studio and recording these, writing the album? Like, where did the inspiration come from? Like, give us.
Well, I would tell you, I will say that it's been over close to almost $200,000 to have been invested in personal development, including college, programs. I did Byron Katie, The Work, Landmark, the books I've read. It's just so much, like, all time. I did this one program called Soul Level Love that helps you heal your inner child. So again, that sacred curiosity that was with me since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
When I would see things that were normalized, thought pathologies or emotional patterns that I saw in my family, I was like, I need to hack that. I want to stay. I don't want to just be sweet. I want to be whole. Like, it was just a desire in me. And so for me, it was like, I made the investment into the change without knowing, like, where it was going to take me,
Right.
So for me, when I got in the studio, all of that knowledge, all of that investment, all of the journals, all of the poetry that I wrote, all of the stuff that I kept in the secret space, in the closet of my life, all of the events that I did, even the courses I created, I took all that language and put it into an album. And I said, I want to write 9 songs that represents the 9 months it takes to create a life. And I want women to push play. And at the push of play, they feel the woman of their dreams being birthed, and they're growing, and they're seeing the fruits of the music flourish into their life. And so when I got in the studio, that was the writing part. First of all, I go through a whole like 2-month process of writing. It's not writing, it's like research. I research what part of the brain I want to activate, what colors, it's just a lot. It's like a whole psychology process that I go through before I even get to writing. Then I write, organize, the ideas on how to organize stuff, that just comes out of me. That just comes, the titles, it just comes out. Like, I feel like I have millions of songs in me. I don't have enough time to get them out, And so, yeah, so when I got in the studio, wasn't nerves, but it felt like I can get comfortable in this. It was the first time I've ever experienced doing something creative without doubt. And I was like, am I home? I was like, am I home? I was like, am I her?
Yeah.
Her?
Who is she?
Who is she in my mirror? What is happening? So it was like putting on an outfit that just fits. it was just like, oh, this is looking nice on me, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's what it was like for me. Like, it was like putting on an outfit that just fits, and everything that I've invested in over the years, all of the journals and all of the little notes I had of stuff, thoughts and ideas,
Mm.
I put it into affirmations for the grown ass woman.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you were, in a way, like preparing for the moment of being in the studio and writing these things. Like, it goes back to, like you said, your mom, she gave you these books full of knowledge. You went to school and you studied this. So you were like already preparing for this kind of without even knowing. Cause
Not even knowing.
yeah.
Not even knowing. Being a musician was never even a thought, honey.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the choir. I've like sung different stuff, but I never even had that thought.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's also amazing though too. So when we think of an affirmation musician, like, kind of break it down to us. What is your definition of an affirmation?
So, affirmation musician could be the affirmation music helps people talk to themselves better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the genre that I categorize this music. There's other people who do affirmation music. The way that I do it is different. It's my own unique way. I bring a certain energy and vibration that is going to heal you immediately. Like, it's going to start a healing process. It's going to awaken you immediately. It's going to do stuff to you that you're going to be like, what is happening? It's because of the process and the energy that I bring, and to be honest with you, I'm sourced by the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I do is sourced, and so that's another piece, but that's something that's different, that's outside of what affirmation music is. But affirmation music is basically you talking to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the psychology of music and the history of music always had the medicinal legacy. And music was used for medicinal purposes, for healing, for
Mm-hmm.
soothing, for coping. And so over the centuries and over time and era, like, it became solely known as for entertainment purposes. But you put on Knuck If You Buck, you ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You put on the right song, you getting a little in your hormones and you're feeling like sexy, and you want bae. If you put on another song, you thinking about something that happened in the past, and you down now about old boo boo who rejected you or cheated on you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like music has the power to put you on an emotional loop and embody a whole thought. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like to say, and I would like to assume that, but I would like to say, go so far to say, that's why so much money is in the game of music, is because it has the power to control, adjust, and pivot people's
Yes.
human energy. You know what I'm saying? And so you can be down and play the right song, and you like in that energy, that moves. So affirmation music has the power and potential and possibility to change the way you talk to yourself. Because if you're on this whole era of self-love, self-care, personal development, I want to work on myself, I want to be, yes, all of that. Every healthy relationship requires healthy communication. So if
Mm.
you don't have healthy communication with yourself, and you're finding yourself on these loops about your body, about money, about men, about the government, about
Come on.
politicians, societies, you're creating a habitat that's only hurting you,
Mm.
and your one experience in this lifetime. So, I said a lot, but affirmation music in a sentence, it helps you talk to yourself better and have a bop. It has a bop to it.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more, like, on the importance of, like, positive self-talk? Because I feel like a lot of times, like you said, when we'll talk about our bodies, we'll talk about how we're single, we don't have a man, like, just things like that, and we kind of don't really realize the damage we're doing to our minds and how we view ourselves. So could you, like, go and elaborate a little bit more into the importance of self-talk?
Yeah, the importance of self-talk is really like the plug, because you grow up in a society that teaches you that you're only worth anything, you know based on your performance. You
Mm.
they the system like what I like to call the matrix. It gets you early. They convince adults and families that to, take your children for majority of the day, majority of the year, majority of their life, from kindergarten till they're 18. And you condition and mold these children under this mindset of, I'm only worth something if I'm performing in sports. I only get
Yes.
rewards when I'm performing in grades. You see what I'm saying? I only get birthday presents if I do good in school. So it ends up translating. It ends up translating in real life. Like, if I get the best record in the business, or if I score this amount as a basketball player, whatever the case may be, it's about performance-based love, performance-based acceptance. And so if you're conditioned and raised in that type of program, you're not going to think of your sense of worth, your sense of deservingness, your sense of enoughness. You're not going to feel like self-love or even being loved is possible outside of you performing for it. So positive self-talk allows you to say, I'm open to changing the way that I view myself and perceive myself being worthy of something, deserving of something. You know what I'm saying? I think that kids should just get rewards for just being here.
Right.
Go to the dollar store and just get an award. Them little cheap awards, and just give it to a kid, your niece or whatever, and just be like, just because you're here, I love you. Like, you're the best. Like, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because it trains them under a new thought, because their brains are developing. And so another piece is, to add to that, 95% of our subconscious mind, like majority of our life is ruled by our subconscious mind. Okay. It's like literally 95% of our life is ruled by what is going, like right now, you're talking to me, but your subconscious mind is taking in the fact that there's a black thing right here. My nails are red. You're not thinking about that consciously, but subconsciously, your brain is taking in all this data and sensory. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but your subconscious mind is grown. The most developing years of the subconscious mind is between 0 to 9 years old. So majority of us are walking around as kids. We're
Wow.
kids. We're winging sex. We're winging dating. We're winging money. We're winging identity. We're coping, because we're operating. A lot of us are 8 years old, so we don't know how to deal with rejection.
Wow.
We're operating like a 5-year-old when we talk about communicating our needs in our relationship with vulnerability. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about positive self-talk and the importance of it, we have to first understand the psychology of our design and the program of our society that prays and capitalizes off of that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you got a whole generation after generation of people who think that they are not worthy unless they perform, you got workers for days. You got employees for days. You don't have people walking around like they the spin image of God. You know what I'm saying? So again, I said a lot, but it's a lot to say about this,
Yeah.
So the importance of self-talk is, number one, understanding your psychology, understanding your design, and then understanding the systems that are in place that capitalize off that. And that's not to be because I'm not anti-system. I'm just pro-consciousness,
Yeah.
pro-living. There's a way to navigate this reality where you're not a victim to your life and the systems that exist.
Yeah. And to go back a little bit, I know you said something about we are conditioned as kids, like, based on, like you said, what society labels us as, and that's kind of how we feel we are valuable, just from that aspect of what we do or how we do it or what makes us different from doing it. So what are ways, maybe one or two ways you would say to unlearn being conditioned from society, or maybe even family too?
Okay, I'm not going to say this as a universal recipe for everybody, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I turned the TV off.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I turned the TV off. I haven't owned a TV since, like, for 9-10 years. I got Netflix, though.
Love Netflix.
Love Netflix, but entertainment is more like, you know how you don't eat candy every day, but you know what I'm saying, or dessert every day, but it's like that look, it's that it, you will eat it, right?
Mm-hmm.
that's the way television and entertainment is my life. Like entertainment is probably part of 2% of my life. You know, it's like something I indulge in every now and then, you know, and it's very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I allow my living to be my entertainment, like my the thing that gives me that dopamine hormone of like aliveness and pleasure and joy. I allow my life to be that, you know, for me. And so I would definitely say for me, the game changer was turning the TV off, you know, and just in making what was happening within my world, my CNN, my Fox News, my MTV, like it was like that was became that for me. The other piece was learning. You know, you in order for on a neurological level, you don't fight an old mindset. You create a new mindset, and the
Yeah.
old mindset weakens. And this is neuroscience here. In
Mm-hmm.
order for you to create a whole new thought, a neuron, you have to feed it new content, and you have to have it on repeat. For example, the marketing world, the advertising world uses the power of repetition because they have the privilege of having access to psychology research and neuroscience. So
Mm-hmm.
you have billion-dollar companies, pop culture icons, they've made it. Why are y'all advertising to us through the news, the magazines, the radio, the TV? Why are y'all showing us content on Instagram? Because they have to keep themselves repetitively relevant in front of us to have our energy of our purchasing habits, that our public opinion of them. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to you know, change the way you talk to yourself, you have to have new content that is replacing the old content that you always had, you know, you listen to or you watch. It's almost like you're creating your own television. Tell your vision, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
what does that look like if it was a
Mm-hmm.
reality show? What would it look like if it was a movie? Like what are the characters who are like you get to create that reality for yourself. So I would say turn for me that what put me on game was turning the TV off and
Mm-hmm.
learning, like staying curious about how more can I get real, how much more can I get real with myself? What else don't I know about my blind spots? That's that curiosity, you know,
Yeah.
that kept me learning.
Yes. Oh, I love it, Tony girl. You are feeding my soul. Those who are in
Mm.
here, I just wanna do a little reset really quick. Those who are in here, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A at the bottom right on your screen. And we're gonna keep it going. So, Tony, one of the things you said from Own Your Shift that I took was you said the first key to unlocking the power of affirmation is shifting the inner conversation with yourself. So, what are the other keys um, to unlocking the power of affirmation?
I would definitely, like I said in my last comment, I would say repetition. Like, I also would like to say, you know, one of the things I said at the wellness retreat with Exo Nicole was play. You know, play is so important because it gives your brain some relief and some bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you just do activities that have nothing to do with an agenda, it's just solely because it brings you joy and pleasure and makes you feel alive. There's something very powerful to the body when you do that. That's why it's like with kids, you need recess, you need snack time, you need order, but you also need time to just be free and wild. You
Mm,
know, that's human nature requires that. And
yeah.
so to unlocking the power of the shift and with affirmations and talking to yourself, I would definitely say repetition, but not repetition in a way where you have the energy of, I have to be responsible, I have to do this, I have to
Yeah.
achieve this repetition. No, you just have a consistent pace with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. We have to understand we are undoing years, decades of conditioning, you
Yes.
know? And so having a consistent, gentle pace with yourself, number one. Number two, I will also say, you know, with that repetition piece. But the second thing I would say is allowing yourself to not do it all right and just say, you know what, F it, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just whatever. I'm too. My brain is overheating. My thoughts are overheating. I need to just give myself some relief and live. I was also say nature is a definitely a good thing to
Mm-hmm.
do because it just, man, nature is so underrated.
It
It's so
is.
underrated. I
Yeah.
never knew what it really was, and I'm just learning more and more how nature is like medicine, you know,
Yeah.
for the mind, body, soul.
Yeah, I'm curious you're so in tune with who you are. I feel like you're centered. So like in those moments of when you go through a tough moment, what is it that keeps you grounded? Like how do you come back to centered Toni, in tune Toni?
Okay, ask me that again. Moments when.
I was saying, so like I said, you seem so just in tune and so centered, and like of course you're conscious. So it's like when you are going through that rough patch that might throw you off track, like what brings you back to centered Toni?
Okay, now, now, but like it took 2020 for me to. It took 2019 and 2020 to give myself a playbook on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I said this at the actual wellness retreat with Exo Nicole. I said, always bring yourself back to the question of what would the version of me who loves myself do in this situation? Because being a human being is messy. It is complex. It can be madness. But in those times where you're frustrated, in those times where you lost a parent, in those times where you lost all financial security, in those times where you're questioning yourself and you're dealing with imposter syndrome, or you just don't know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with awakening, but you don't know what is going on. And
Yeah.
your ego is having a hard time figuring out what you're feeling, what you're going through. In those times, you get to ask yourself, what would the version of me who loves myself do in this situation? And you sit with that.
Mm.
And I ask myself, Toni, what do you need? What do you want? How can I tend to you? Like that's what I do. And I sit there with myself sometimes, and I understand that not being a wife and not having children gives me some type of like time, autonomy, and freedom. And some women feel like they don't have the space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You find the space, just like you find the space to make that dentist appointment, to
Yeah.
go get gas. You find the time to go to the doctor. Like you give yourself that space and time. And I am getting more and more evidence the more I do that, that everything works out. You don't your life doesn't get destroyed because you neglected or abandoned some responsibilities.
Mm.
I know a mom who told her mother-in-law, say, I need you to take the kids for a week. I'm about
Yeah.
to go get an Airbnb. I need to get my mind together because I'm taking it out on my children. You know what I'm saying? So you find the time, you make the time, because no one benefits from you from your self abandonment. No one benefits from it.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely say asking yourself that question, what would the version of me who loves myself do in this situation? How would she talk to myself? What choices would she make? What thought would she share with me? Yeah.
Mm. Toni, girl, I'm gonna have to DM you for that question because I can't jot it down. Okay. I need that question. And those who are watching, I hope y'all are taking notes. I just love you, Toni. I do.
Oh, I love you
Um,
too.
I just love it. So I did have two questions
Yeah.
from um some people before we started the live. So one of them told me, one of the people, she's one of my best friends. She said she feels like she's in like this uh repetitive routine where she works, she goes to the store, she eats.
Okay.
It's just becoming old to her, I guess. So I guess she feels like she doesn't um feel like she's doing anything right now other than work, eat, sleep. So she wanted to ask, how do you like stay purposeful? Like how do you feel like well, hold on, wait. Yes, how do you make yourself feel purposeful in those moments of feeling like you're not really doing anything, kind of feeling
Well,
stuck?
I would recommend something that can be real easy. I would say watch the film by Pixar and Disney called Soul.
Cool.
Watch that
Mm,
for those of you who feel that way.
yeah.
Because what I feel like, again, purpose has been branded to us.
Yes.
We romanticize about doing something that is uh, like to be recognized and to be, notarized and just to feel like you're something.
Yes.
When the fact that you are breathing is an iconic thing that deserves to be celebrated. And you are the one that gets to celebrate that.
Right.
You're the one. I was just telling a friend today, my girl Claudia, we went to brunch earlier, and I said, I realized something this week. Because y'all, every week, I'm telling y'all, wherever you are in your journey, listen to this before I answer this question. Wherever you are in your journey, don't stop. It gets juicier.
It does.
It gets better. I'm telling y'all. You'll just start to see things happening and changing with you because you got to put in the work. You have to put in the practice. But somehow, some way, you end up reaping something that you didn't work for. You didn't work for. You just did your best.
Right.
So keep showing up. Keep showing up. Okay. But I told her this morning, I said, I realize I'm the one. I'm the one. There is no Prince Charming. There
You're the
is no
prize.
Mother Dearest. There is no celebrity that's going to put me on. There is no award show that's going to make me feel good about my music. I'm the one. I'm that thing that I've been seeking for to fulfill me. And I realize that God, like when the Bible says love yourself as you love your neighbor, they part of your spiritual journey is loving yourself.
Mm,
You can't love God and not love yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't love people and not love yourself. I don't care how much you've done for the world, how many times you fed the homeless, or whatever the case may be. You started nonprofits. If you don't love yourself, it's null and void. What is that really? You have to question, is that really love? So to the point of your friend, loving yourself is the key. I cannot believe I'll never get used to, I'll never get used to the fact that self-love is really the answer. I'll never, it blows my mind that is the answer to all things in life. I
yeah.
cannot believe it, and that there's levels to realizing that truth. It's levels to realizing it. So I would say that watch the movie Soul. Self-love, you gotta invest and be curious about that. You have to go in those quiet spaces of like, what is self-love?
Mm,
Who's out there that's hearing my prayer, my cry out of my heart? I feel like this routine and this thing it's not heartfelt. The third piece I would say, your purpose is being here, like that movie Soul.
mm-hmm.
Your purpose is being happy. It's a feeling process. I didn't make that up. This
Mm,
is anciently like recorded. Like this stuff is known. Like, so people who celebrity work, they understand this. You
mm,
better believe they understand this code, that their purpose is to be happy. Follow that feeling. What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? If you don't know that, just stay with that curiosity,
mm-hmm.
and then find out, like, if you're drinking orange juice, if you're going to work, seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open. Why am I saying that? Seek for gratitude when you go to that job. Seek where pleasure is when you go work out. Seek where, like, there is more there than just your understanding of like, this is mundane, this is boring. There's
Yeah.
more realities for you to experience on a sensory and emotional and cognitive and physical level than just the narrative of disempowerment.
Ooh,
You
child.
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You speaking to me too, girl. Whew. Toni, you are just, I can't even find a word to describe you, girl. You are just it. You are it. Okay, so another question I had was, how long would you say you have to practice a routine for it to become a habit? Like I know you mentioned before being repetitive. So how long would you say we would have to be repetitive for it to be, I would say, just become a part of our daily routines? And I guess it could be an affirmation, or it could be working out, just
I
general.
would say every moment.
Mm,
That's how long it takes. Every moment. Every moment. Every moment you become present, that's how much it takes.
mm,
When you're like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta do this, and you're like, wait a minute. It takes that. That's all it takes.
mm.
Continually to practice that. It's not in the construct, in the framework of time. It's not linear.
Yeah.
It just takes those moments of presence. It's like everybody who puts a seed in the ground, it's not going to always have the same time frame of how it grows. It all depends. So
Hmm.
it will be very insulting to anyone to give a time frame,
Yeah.
because everybody's universe is so different. You know what I'm saying? I realize there is no destination. It's a lie, y'all. There is no destination. The journey is the experience. The
Yes.
process is the destination. The changes that you experience within yourself is the win.
Mm.
It's the lottery. So the whole destination addiction of doing things to get to this point, that's all an illusion. It's all about being present. The moments of when you practice the present, when you practice those moments of presence, you can activate the emotional reality of winning that destination outcome that you think that's going to bring some type of sense of wholeness and accomplishment.
Yes. Thank you, Toni. Oh, you're great. I just have to keep saying it. I have to keep complimenting you. Like, it
Thank
just
you so
rolls
much.
off my tongue. I mean, I'm learning so much from just what you're saying, and things that I personally have missed out on. Like, wow, like, have I been
No,
self-reflecting? Have I
no,
been
no, you didn't
present?
miss out on anything. You didn't miss out. I am a reflection of you. This
Mm,
is the reason why it resonates is because it's already in you. You see what I'm saying? This
mm,
is not something that is outside of you. It's already in you. If this was not in you, you would not. You'd be like, I don't get that. That's not like.
yeah.
So I am only a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? It's already in you. So you're not missing out on anything. You don't have to second guess. You don't have to self criticize or analyze anything. It's already in you, and the evidence is what I'm saying is resonating with you.
Wow. There we go again. You did it again.
Stop.
You did it again. You did it again. Okay, well, that's all I have for you. I thank you so much for just sharing just your knowledge and your journey with us. If y'all have questions, please drop them really quickly in the Q&A before we wrap it up. But I just want to say thank you again. And is there anything on your heart that you want to say before we end the conversation?
Yes, I would like to say that those of you who know that you want mentors, you want guidance, you want book recommendations, you want, a coach or whatever the case may be, you have the strong one, the wise one in your circle, or you follow someone on Instagram that always provides you, like, make sure that you're like alignment with mutual energy exchange, the law of exchange, the law of reciprocity is so important. So whether you send a candle, whether you write a letter, whether you invest in cash at this person, make sure that whoever is around you, whether it even if it's you, like, that people are receiving from, like, make sure you are investing your energy and don't take that lightly. Healers are, like, literally, like, in their work right now,
Mm,
like, for real, like, healers and people who are invested in serving the personal development and for humanity by showing up in self-love with themselves. That is not an easy journey. It's a hero's journey, and there are no words to articulate what that experience, that process is like. So please honor those spaces where leaders are showing up, because we're not showing up as boss chicks. We're showing up as shamans, in modern form. So understand that you must, in order for you to get all the juice and all the nutrients of what someone is offering, Respect the energy of reciprocity and invest in them, sow into them. Don't DM them, ask them for book recommendations or what do you think about this, or tell them all your testimony. Say, what's your cash app? You know,
Yeah.
what's your address? I don't have the money, but I have a candle company. Let me send. You see what I'm saying? So I would love to leave people with that, because it's very honorable, and it's very, you get everything that you need from that when you honor that energy exchange. Last but not least, I would just say, just stay close to the message of talking to yourself better. I'm not the only affirmation musician. A lot of people haven't coined that phrase, but like Ladrell, is Londra, I think his name is Londrell, is out here, but it's a few affirmation musicians. Oh, Chris and Teeb, I can't forget about them. Those are my guys in New Jersey, you know. So stay close to the message, because it all boils down to how you talk to yourself. And if you want to stay closer to the message that I'm providing, go to wifeyourlife.co. I offer a subscription membership where people can enroll into the, you know, the space, and we basically talk about how to change your the way you talk to yourself. The content is courses around each song from the album. We launched Affirmations for the Grown Ass Woman course on March 31st. So if it's true, if it resonates, rock with us. It's a beautiful space. It's not programming. It's very sisterhood. So it's more conversational more than a program, you know, that you got all these PDFs. Like, I didn't want another personal development. I didn't want to give people another personal development job to fix themselves. I was like, I want to provide them sacred, safe spaces where they can learn and be themselves and talk, you know, and connect. So
Yeah.
that's what I have. Those are my last words, if
Well,
you
we
will.
your last words. We thank you for your vulnerability, your story, and just everything you've given us. Wait a minute.
I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
I can hear you, but your face is frozen and I see like a little loading circle. But while I have you, yes.
Okay.
Okay, there you are. But yes, thank you for your vulnerability. You know, just being transparent with your journey and just giving us all a new perspective, not only right now in this moment, but with your music, your affirmation music. And also tell us where we can find your music and listen.
Yeah, you can find them on all streaming platforms. I actually have my website in my bio. So
Mm-hmm.
you can go to Tony Jones, I am TonyJones.com. And I have my links in my website and what's upcoming and merch and things like that. But yeah, you can find my music on all platforms. Just look Tony Jones, Tony Jones Affirmations, YouTube, Tidal. You can buy it. You can buy the music on Amazon and iTunes.
Yes, we love it. Well, Toni, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you. Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed this conversation with you.
Yes, it was beautiful. I thank you for sharing me with your audience. It's a beautiful thing to share these things with us. We need each other, you know. So
Yes.
everybody have a calm Sunday and be gentle with yourselves this week, okay?
Yes. Thank y'all for joining. Toni, I will be DMing you for that question that you told us back earlier because I need
Okay.
that girl. But thank you and have a good night, those that are in here and you as well.
Okay.
Bye.